Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So as you can see, we're in North Yorkshire, and it's the morning we've woken up from our arrival at North Yorkshire. And today we're attending a place called White Scar Caves. Um, we paid £18 to go in each, and it's an 18-minute tour. Unfortunately, I only actually made the first 20 minutes, and due to my spinal issues and having to be low down within the caves, it actually affected me too much, and I had to then retreat and go back. And a lovely lady let me join her and walk back with her. She'd been several times before, so I retreated, and Mr. Wallflowers and Oscar continued.
Right, so our little adventure today is going to take us on a mile-long journey under the limestone pavement of Ingleborough Mountain. That's the mountain behind us, and we will climb 83 steps up to the final big cavern, battlefield cavern. There are two low ceiling sections in the cave requiring us to walk bent over, something like this.
I've got a question.
Perhaps not you. Who's got a question?
Me.
Yeah.
Why is there like a mannequin?
Well, I shall tell you about him. His name is Christopher. I'll tell you about him in a moment. So we're going to have two low ceiling sections where we're going to have to walk bent over like this. The first low ceiling section is about 50 metres long, and the second one about 40 metres long. If anyone's struggling, if anyone's having difficulties of any kind, don't worry, but please do let me know. My name's Mark. I'm your tour guide today. Our helmets, they're a compulsory item of safety equipment. They're going to help prevent us bump our heads, particularly in those low ceiling sections. If the lights were to go out, no need to worry, we've got a backup generator. There's only one entrance and exit to this cave system. It's where we have just come in. Please do take photographs, but this part's important. Video photography is not allowed in this cave system. Sorry about that. What we've found in the past is that when people trip, fall over and hurt themselves, it's often when they're taking videos on their mobile phones. That's the health and safety bit done. Now shortly we'll get to Christopher. A little introduction to the caves, to the name, White Scar. Where does it come from? It comes from the cliffs above us. So they were formed by a glacier making its way down the valley, cutting away at the limestone, leaving a white scar. This cave was discovered back in 1923. Right, kids, how long ago was that? 1923. Go on.
I'm pretty sure it was like 101 years ago.
Spot on, absolutely. So it's sort of our centenary at this time.
My great grandma was a picture of, wait, what's she alive back then? Yes, she was.
She might have
She
come
was
to the caves.
102 when she died, I
Was
think.
she 102? She'd have been a baby probably when she came. So the caves didn't open to the public till 1925, and they were discovered by two young men, Christopher Long and his good friend John Churchill. They were students at Cambridge University, but what they preferred to do was go caving. The mannequin behind me represents Christopher crawling along this dry riverbed. Christopher crawled through here, and this crawl space that we can see is typical of the route Christopher took all the way to the first waterfall. Who knew that we were going to be seeing waterfalls inside the mountain today?
Me.
Did you? Well done you. Yeah, we're going to see two waterfalls inside the mountain today. I should point out, although we're inside the mountain now, this is not the natural cave. This part is a man-made tunnel that was dug back in 1924, so that we don't have to crawl like that. And then when we get to the other side of the first waterfall, the natural cave is more than tall enough for us to stand up in. Christopher and John were on holiday here in Ingleton. Perhaps some of you are on holiday here as well. They were out on a walk, and they came across water pouring straight out of this mountain, as it does today. just about 200 yards up the road from here. Christopher and John tried to get in there, but they couldn't. There was too much water coming out. Now, fortunately for us, they also found this entrance. And they thought, I bet that's a previous place where all the water used to come out that's now run dry. So Christopher crawled in, wearing just his summer clothes and using a bowler hat to which he'd attached candles to light his way. When he got into this crawl space, he could hear that waterfall. That excited him, and after 2 hours of crawling, Christopher got to that waterfall. Christopher being Christopher, he then climbed up and over that waterfall, and he continued to the second cascading waterfall before he finally decided to turn back. Christopher's adventure took him 4 hours. We're going to get to that first waterfall in about 5 minutes. And on that subject, who's ready to see waterfalls inside the mountain? I thought you might be. How about stalactites and stalagmites? Some maybes? What about flowstone and gower pools? What are they? And we might even come across a devil's tongue. We are going to progress through this cave system as a group. This is a guide-led tour because these caves do flood. I shall be setting a pace because we've got a long way to go. If you find that the person in front of you needs a bit more time, they can't keep up with my pace, please politely go around them. And if you are one of those people that needs a bit more time, please allow other people to go around you so that they can hear the tour. You'll be able to catch up to us at our various stops and no one will get left behind. Let's go and see that first waterfall. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do that. It's got your shorts on.
Probably a bit cold one. Are you?
Ooh. That's why you got a hat. Looks like it's not being long flooded.
While you guys are evacuating, let me tell you where the water level was in here just about 3 months ago. There. No tours that there. Are you the last one, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, great. And when you've seen the waterfall, if you'd like to start following me upstairs.
I'll see the water.
We go back way on.
You showing him the torch right to his face.
Okay, going.
Purified water.
Sorry?
Purified water, you could think so.
Mental.
Can I have your head, man?
Yeah, very good. What's funny? I guess I think if you heard that, I just asked Christopher, had a friend called Winston, because of course his friend is actually John.
Yes, yes, no, it's actually wrong with the
So you have perfectly practiced what I want to ask you to do is standing on the left-hand side of the cave. We've got quite a few tours invitations for today. When we pass them, we'll always pass them on the left-hand side. Job done. So Christopher and John were correct. They had found the previous place where all that water from the water used to come out, that's now running dry. I'm sure you can all imagine how exciting Christopher must have been after he threw out all by candlelight and finally got to that first waterfall. Around the corner we're going to go is the natural cave. We're still in the man-made tunnel. And from that point onwards, everything that we look at will be natural, not man-made, not dug out in any way, except for the lighting system. Obviously that's man-made. And also a metal bridge we're going to be walking on above the river. We're going to follow this river into the mountain now. Please be careful with your car keys and mobile phones. We're also going to go into the first low ceiling section of the cave. Yay! That's going to require most mum, dads and adults to bend over and mind our heads. There is a handrail that we can use to steady ourselves. And when we get to the other side of this low section, we get to the second cascading waterfall and Long's gallery. Christopher Long could now stand up quite easily in the natural cave and take a look at the weird and wonderful failures and donations. If you're taking pictures of that stuff,
All you can hear is your head. Duck down. Go on. That was hard, like, wasn't it?
Well,
That was hard, though.
I might need to go back. Been one way in and one way out.
Is it?
Probably go and grab them.
At this point I really started to struggle. Not only was my spine, my knees, my legs, everything really weak, and because I had to crouch down in such positions to try to walk, the air seemed thin too, and I felt as if I might have had a panic attack. I just was scared that I'd have to do this tunnel at that length 3 times more, 2 going in, and you have to do the same route coming back, and I really started to worry. Unfortunately, a lady came across and she was going back, and I happened to join with her. But if I'd have gone any further, I was scared in case I did induce a panic attack, and I was stuck in the middle of a cave where I would have still had to crouch to get out. Yeah, it looks beautiful, and I've missed out on a great adventure, but luckily Mr. Wallflowers has recorded it, and him and Oscar had a wonderful time. And I had to go through that tunnel crouch to get out, and once I was out it was just instant relief, so I sat and had a latte and waited for them to return.
At the bottom of the sea, and that stacks up on top of each other. This is called sedimentary rock, and over about 15 million years it's given us the 180 feet of Carboniferous limestone we have here at White Scar Caves. Didn't stay at the equator, obviously it drifted all the way out to North Yorkshire, where it was in for a bit of a shock. Anyone here from North Yorkshire? Yes? Does it rain where you live? No, never. Tell the truth. Oh, boy, does it rain here in North Yorkshire, and it's the rain that has created this cave and all of the formations in the cave. I'll explain now. This is called a solution cave. Limestone dissolves in water. It may sound weird that this rock, which seems really hard, dissolves in water, but it does. It takes a little while. In the case of this cave, 400,000 years. Nature's been making this cave in 2 main ways. The first one, when the cave was still full of water, was a process of erosion and extraction. Rock was being dissolved, washed out of the cave was getting bigger. The second process has happened since the glaciations. They've dug the deep valleys around us, including the one at Chapel Adele, where we parked our cars, causing the water table to drop to the point where we generally just have a stream at the bottom of the cave now and air in the cave. Nature is now putting material back into the cave again. I'll explain now. Has anyone here seen a limestone pavement? No? Right, above our heads, about 100 metres above our heads, we have a very nice limestone pavement full of rain-dissolved crevices. Actually, it's not that much fun to walk on. It's very easy to twist an ankle. The rain continues percolating down through the rock until it gets back to the cave. If you have a look where I'm shining my torch, you can see the drips of rainwater. Someone just got dripped on, and then behind the drips, white stuff. That white stuff is calcium carbonate being redeposited back into this cave, but this time in its crystalline form called calcite. Now that's on a drip, drip, drip level. Let's have a look at the back of the group there. Oh, let's see if we can make this happen. Right. We've been having fun. Check this out. I'm just going to come past you if I can. So we normally have a little bit of a stream coming in here. It's not running today, but I've got a bit of water here. I can sort of make it happen. You can see the water flowing down over the rock here. Can you see something glistening in there, like glitter?
Yeah.
So that just reconfirms it's in its crystalline form. The rainwater's bringing with it that dissolved calcium carbonate. Yeah, come and touch it if you like.
I was just touching it because calcite is in Minecraft.
Ah. Depositing the calcite, and it's completely covered over rock which otherwise would look like this. This is called flowstone. And it's flowstone that makes up the majority of these formations in the cave system. Right, kids, we're almost done. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'll ask you two guys. Do you think your mums and dads were paying attention when they were in school?
Hello.
No, well, let's find out. How about you guys back here? Were your mums and dads paying attention when they were in school? Right. Mums, dads, and adults, please don't let me down. Who remembers what that one's called? That was very affirmative. You're absolutely right. You didn't fall into my trap either. That one's a stalagmite. That sounds very similar to stalactite. We only have baby ones here. Here's one on the ceiling of the cave. The way I remember the difference between the two, stalactites are holding on tight to the ceiling of the cave, but I might trip over a stalagmite on the floor of the cave. There we go. That's the geology bit done. Phew. Right. The other reason we've stopped here is our second main formation, the Judge's Head. I have to be honest, he's perhaps the most uncoordinated formation in the cave to me, because he's only that big, but he does make a very good side profile of Judge's Head. Fortunately for me, the next main formation is much bigger. It is that big. It's the longest stalactite that we have in this cave system. It took 100,000 years to grow. We call it the Sword of Damocles. Let's go and take a look at that.
That's interesting. I keep trying to break a bit of the wall off, but nothing's coming off. Fresh water, that one off the rock.
You'd wreck your,
What?
you'd wreck your bottle. Could do small grips. Colour of that. Colour of that.
What? What?
What do you say?
Not a clue. Should have brought like a mini pickaxe or something.
I know. The place that rock was going in the shop.
You reckon you'd notice that? You just talk about the cave.
And once the cave comes down, crashing down on us.
You took that. What's that holding together, really?
With the vibrations that you're banging against. I wouldn't like to come here if it was raining though.
Yeah.
The knows the walls are coming in now and it's dry.
It's like been raining.
Screaming
Last night. Reading. The soul of Damocles was been held together with string on it. That's fell on it. They don't want to lose their toes attachment, so they just attach the string. What's going on here?
And that's the longest one.
What?
And that's the longest one.
The sword of Damocles.
That's the longest one in the cave. What they've sellotaped together.
Well, it's already fell off, so it's
Colours in that.
That's what I've seen. 10 minutes and 15 minutes.
When she got convicted for witchcraft, she fled Ireland and came to live in England. Shortly afterwards, Harwick, Alice Ingleton, is legend has it that our Alice made a deal with the devil. During the War of the Roses, which was between Lancashire and Yorkshire, And to help Yorkshire out maybe deal with the desert, you can look that story up if you're interested, but perhaps over time, Alice and the devil fell out, Alice lost her fingers, and the devil lost his teeth. The devil's tongue. So, by the way, after the devil's tongue, you'll pick up the pace. You've got this huge cavern at the end, and we'll have plenty of time to spend in there. It's still got a long, long way to go, so after the devil's tongue, picking up the pace.
My colour that though, isn't it? What? I thought it was a light shining on it. The roof's cracking.
What?
The roof's cracking.
Devil's tongue.
We've just been left on our own.
What?
We've just been left on our own.
Yeah, you're just about so.
He's give up on us. He's probably saying, I told them not to video.
What?
I told them not to video, it's their own fault.
There you go. Oh, we need an alternative.
No.
Now my eldest is 40 now. Okay. She had
I'm going to ask some of these other people around you some questions. What's your name again?
My name's
Exactly. Yeah, okay, you just wait a moment. So, if everyone can come onto the platform, are you comfortable? How about you guys? Do you have any questions?
No.
I'll come back to you, Zach, don't worry. Any questions here? Any questions here? Any questions? Zach, you're up.
My question is, will we be able to find any dimetri fossils? I know we lived like long before the dinosaurs did.
What did you call it? A dimetri?
No, dimetrodon.
Oh yeah, no, right. You probably know more about dinosaurs than I do, but
They're
I'm
not
pretty...
dinosaurs.
What are they?
They're like prehistoric amphibians from before the time of the
Oh
dinosaurs.
wow, okay, so you're absolutely right. Zach is pointing out that life basically on the planet started in the sea, didn't it, Zach? So at the same time as the Carboniferous time, there were sharks and whatever that one's called, swimming in the seas. But I haven't
Well,
seen...
I'm pretty sure dimetrodons didn't live in the sea.
They didn't.
They lived on land.
Right, well I think that came after the Carboniferous period. Do you remember how long ago they were? Ah, yeah, that's way later than the 340 million years of the Carboniferous period. So none of those. I've got an important question for all of you. How is everybody feeling? Anyone got any chest pains? Any breathing problems? Feeling queasy?
Yeah. They,
I don't believe it, Zach. Right, who liked the last low ceiling section? Have a guess what's coming next. Say it.
Oh, the first one was 50 metres, this is only 40.
Yeah. Right, this one's only 40, but the ceiling in this section is a bit more erratic and there are some pretty low stones. So to give the tall challenge for those with bad backs a little bit of a heads up, we've painted the low stones with yellow paint. Hopefully, I will see everyone on the other side. Let's go.
I need to get you banging your head also.
I might as well just get on the floor, so I'm calling, you know. Who we found?
Oh, this is easy. How low can you go? And that wasn't you? Oh, we are.
Right, the next part of our tour wasn't seen by Christopher Long. Remember the young man who discovered the cave downstairs? By the way, did anyone manage to get through that banging their heads?
Yep.
Yep.
How about you?
The most of it For most of it, I didn't even have to do.
Well
They
done.
weren't that low.
As we came out of the low section, we'd taken this stairs to the left. But many of you probably noticed that the cave that we'd been walking in continued around to the right. Around the corner there's a couple of caved lakes. Cave lakes are nothing like Lake Windermere. They're only about 10 to 12 feet wide, the ones that we have. They're about 6 to 8 feet deep. But there's two lakes. The second one is 65 meters long. That one is called Long Lake. It's as far as our friend Christopher got. He did swim across that lake, but when he got to the far side, he just came to a tangled mess of boulders called a boulder choke, including one boulder the size of a double-decker bus that had crashed down through the ceiling of the cave, blocking off any further access to the cave system. Christopher called that big boulder Big Bertha. Big Bertha's still there, obviously. The water can get around it. We see the river is flowing, but people couldn't get any further. Now, almost 50 years later, in 1971, one of our local caving clubs, the Happy Wanderers, discovered Battlefield Cavern, where we're heading. And in 1989, this tunnel was dug. You probably recognise we're in a man-made tunnel again, and it opened to the public in 1990. So fortunately for us, we don't have to swim across that freezing cold lake or scramble up through an unstable boulder choke. We can just continue on these steps to Battlefield Cavern.
Do you have any gloves? My hands are cold.
You've got pockets, like that one. Yeah.
What time? 10 to 2?
Yeah.
Doesn't only took 80 minutes.
Should ask more for
Are you breathing? It's amazing.
Okay, I'm going to pop the lights out and use some UV light just to pick out our hollow straw stalactites. There's over 10,000 of them apparently, and it's one of the reasons why this cavern has been designated a site of special scientific interest. The way they grow is a drip of rainwater gets to the ceiling of the cavern and it deposits a ring of calcite. Inside the hollow straw, and they're literally like drinking straws, the rainwater continues to flow, and on the end of every one of these hollow straws is a new drip of rainwater depositing the next ring of calcite. The rate of growth is pretty slow. It's about 1 millimetre every 7 to 10 years. So that's 1 metre every 7,000 to 10,000 years. And from the length of these ones in front of us, we can get some idea how long we think they've been growing for. Hollow straw stalactites. So I'm going to pop the lights back on. May I ask you? And then we'll make our way down to this platform over here. Well, to mark out, this is the largest show cavern in Yorkshire. Have you noticed the boulders? Yeah. Good, I was just about to ask, but obviously this group is observant. Hopefully everyone's seen these big massive boulders on the floor of the cavern. They're not just at that end there where we can see them, they run all the way through the cavern. Where do we think they've come from? The roof is correct. Every one of these big boulders has fallen from the roof. Is anyone worried a little bit?
Suddenly a plastic hat feels a bit inadequate.
Fortunately for us, everywhere that we look, we have the hollow straw stalactites. And they can have only begun to form after the boulders fell down. And the length of these ones over here suggests that the ceiling collapse in this cavern coincided with the end of the last ice age. This is an ice age cavern. Probably what happened. The last ice age here in North Yorkshire was about 10,500 years ago. And these hollow straws here look like they've been grown from somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 years. Probably what's happened. During the last glaciation, the last ice age, a massive block of ice in here, but water would have also frozen in the cracks in the rock which run vertically, but also horizontally in sedimentary rock. And we know what happens to water when it freezes. It expands. Sometimes it bursts up pipes at home. That would have fractured the big boulders and the rocks, and then at the end of the ice age, when the ice down here finally melted, the ceiling collapsed. So my boss says, no need to worry about the ceiling collapsing today. The other reason we stopped at this platform is our prehistoric mud over here. It kind of looks man-made, like crazy paving, something that my mum and dad had in their backyard. Nature made this. This cavern was also the course of an underground river, long before the last two glaciations. And when this cavern dried out, river mud was left behind. The river mud dried out and it cracked. And then very slowly, over a long period of time, the cracks filled in with this white stuff. Anyone want to hazard a guess at what they think the white stuff is? It's calcine. It's the same stuff that's made all of our speleothem formations. So downstairs we saw stalactites, we saw stalagmites, and I've been introduced to a new name today when they join together being stalagmite in another language. Which language was that, Mike?
Polish.
Polish, okay. Yeah, we call them column stalactites when they join together over here. We saw gower pools, we saw flowstone, and I'm going to give you one more at this platform here. This type is called drapery, for obvious reasons. It looks like some cloth that's been draped. Right, quickly, before, they're already here. The gentleman who asked about avens, we've got two really nice ones at the far end. We're going to find the one here. This is an aven, but I'll tell you all about how avens form at the final line.
Go. Just on that on top.
Hilda Guthrie. And it's Hilda who discovered this cavern back in 1971. She was part of the Happy Wanderers Caving Club. We've come up 83 steps from the cave that we're walking in downstairs. That cave goes underneath this cavern. The lakes that I spoke about, they're somewhere off in that direction over there. And then the cave that we've been walking in continues underneath us, goes down the axis of this cavern for a bit, obviously 83 steps down, before turning and heading off in this direction, pretty much onto this big block of rock here, for another 2 miles. That's where proper cavers go caving today. What we can see is that when the ceiling collapsed here, some really rather large boulders fell down. This one in front of us has got to be tens, if not 100 tons. When it fell down, it smashed through the floor of this cavern down into the cave below. One of these big boulders will be Big Bertha, but probably not one of the ones we can see, because we've come up 83 steps. Big Bertha is buried way down there. In 1971, the Happy Wanderers Caving Club was trying to find their way around Big Bertha. They wanted to get into the rest of that caving system over there. On this expedition, they were trying to find a route up and over the top of Big Bertha. They had no idea that this cavern was here. No human had ever been in this cavern before. They were digging their way up through quite unstable rock, but it was only a slim 19-year-old Hilda Guthrie who was persuaded by the rest of her team to squeeze up and through the final tight foxhole into this cavern. It doesn't look so tight, this foxhole now. You can imagine that once Hilda had got in, everybody else wanted to get in, so they chipped away at it over the years. And we can imagine the scene, at least now in 1971, Hilda didn't just have handles. She could do what I'm doing. She could see how big it was in here. She knew she wasn't in the cave downstairs anymore. The other thing that caught Hilda's attention was the boulders strewn around all over the place. She'd not seen anything like this before, but when her team, who was somewhere down below her, pulled up to her and asked, "Hilda, what's it like in there?" Apparently she called back down to them, "It looks like a battlefield in here." And the name stuck. We've called it Battlefield Cavern after Hilda's discovery ever since. For the next 20 years, this type foxhole here and a slightly more stable route that was discovered there was the only way to get in and out of this cavern. Proper cavers only. And in 1989, Bagshot was the weekend through. Hilda is now the face of a white witch. If you'd like to have a look around for the face of our white witches are good witches, by the way. If you think you have found the face of our white witch, do you have enough confidence to use your face?
I think.
You've got it!
But on the right.
Could you go to her nose?
On the right of it.
So it's the side profile of the witch looking down the cave. Well done. So if you haven't seen it yet, we're looking in this area here. Side profile, which is looking down the cavern. There's the pointed nose, her eyes, her lips with warts on. Look at those warts. And her chin with hairs on. Lovely head of hair, her forehead, witch's hat. And some people see her reclined on a broomstick here as well. Okay. Have you still not seen it? Okay. Side profile, the one nose is quite pointed. Down the cavern, there's the pointed nose, there's her eyes. Her lips with warts on her chin. My side profile. Witch's hat, forehead, eyes, nose. Oh my goodness! Right. Okay. So at the end of the day, when all the tours are finished, we're going to turn the lights on. And our witch is going to be all on her own in the dark. What do you think our witch likes to eat to help us in the dark? That's so mean. That's my number one answer on this. Children, I tell you what.
Well, we needed Zach. Zach was the word of sanity. Thank you, Zach, because I can do that.
Here's our witch's stock of carrots. I know they're not red, but they do look like carrots. These are called carrot stalactites. And the way they form is one of the hollow straws gets blocked on the inside by a bit of mud, bit of grit. Rainwater flows over the outside and we get a carrot. Now, that brings us to the end of the guided portion of your tour today. The next part of your tour will be to rediscover the cave for yourself.
Thank you for joining us for this caving tour. It was a mile long and took approximately 80 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Please remember you're loved and take care. If you're anything like me, you'll have spotted lots of faces in the caves. Take care. Love you. Bye.
I think this has been a really fun group to bring down the caves today. I do hope it's been a good visit for everyone who's come today to White Scar Caves. My name's Mark. I've been your tour guide. So if you know the way out, if you've got some meaning